Good afternoon. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Good afternoon. There we go, there we go. I am Dr. Freeman Wisdom, headmaster here at the John D. O'Brien School of Mathematics and Science. And on behalf of our entire school community, I welcome you here today. In addition to welcoming you, I also want to express our sincere gratitude to all of the dignitaries that are here today. And at this time, I'm going to ask you to stand just so that we can eyeball you in the room. Please stand. If you represent, we have our come on, Senator, Chairman of the school committee. All right. Thank you. Your presence here today demonstrates how important it is for us to invest and create innovative opportunities for our students, and that's for you all here. So I'm hoping that you appreciate today, and please remember it. We at the O'Brien, we are excited about our partnership with Mass Maritime because it supports us in solidifying our mission of offering a STEM education to our students, where you have not only the access, but the ability to apply core academics to post-secondary studies. So this is a unique opportunity that I really want you to take serious. In addition to this opportunity, this partnership is a game changer for students, our families, and our communities, because not only will you be admitted into Mass Maritime, you're also eligible for a full ride over 4 years. Is that something to talk about? I think so. I think so. I have a son who's graduating, and I'm wondering if it's too late for him to take advantage of this opportunity.
Absolutely not.
All right, all right. All in all, we look forward to this opportunity. Our students will benefit from the introduction to college-level work, the opportunity to accumulate college credit, and they'll also be acclimated to a college environment through frequent trips to Mass Maritime. So at this time, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Sullivan, who is our Science Program Director. Can you just wave? He engineered this partnership, and we are grateful for it. And I would also like, at this time, to welcome Mass Maritime Rear Admiral and President, and he's very, very personable, Mr. Francis X. McDonald. Thank you.
Dr. Freeman Wisdom, thank you very, very much. To everybody in the room, please know that I speak from the bottom of my heart when I tell you that we down there in Buzzards Bay are really, really happy to be here and be a part of this program. If I could just touch on a couple things first. This program, we're announcing the next step in the partnership here today, but this program goes back a few years, and there are a couple people that really did play a critical role and continue to do so today. It's easy for us to come on the big events and the ribbon cuttings and all that, but without boots on the ground and people pouring their heart and soul into it, we don't have this program in the shape it is today. So I, too, would like to recognize Mike Sullivan in the back of the room. Mike, congratulations on the job well done. Although not here today, because I believe he is with half the ROTC unit on a field trip to Massachusetts Maritime, is Chief Barrows, but he deserves a round of applause. Chief Barrows. And the boots on the ground for the Maritime Academy is Dr. Elizabeth Stevenson, who's also here in the front. Dr. Stevenson, thank you for your work. I have to tell you, we have a couple other shout-outs that I have to touch base on. First is with the Boston Public Schools and the city leadership. As we were trying to bring this program to the next level, the first meeting I had was with Superintendent Chang about 1.5 years ago, and he was instrumental in moving this thing forward, and especially the part when it comes to need-based financial aid for the duration of the program at Massachusetts Maritime. And on top of that, last summer, at an event we held in Boston, we were fortunate enough to have Mayor Walsh there. So if I could give a big, big shout out to both Superintendent Tommy Chang and Mayor Walsh, please, thank you. At the state level, there also has to be some vision to make something like this happen, and we have some people who you're going to hear from today in Commissioner Santiago, Secretary Pizer, and our very own Governor Charlie Baker. But they brought with them, first and foremost, the vision of doing something different, to say, if we do the same thing over and over again, collectively, we're not going to see any real change. So they challenged the 29 college campuses, public campuses, to start thinking about ways to engage with the K-12 system, to consider things like dual enrollment in early college, in the Commonwealth commitment. And it started with that vision, but then along with that came some funding dedicated to some of the seed pieces of this, like dual enrollment. And without their visionary leadership and financial support, we wouldn't be celebrating this today. So you'll hear two from them, but gentlemen, thank you very, very much for all your work. This partnership is very special to me, and it's really three huge pieces. Clearly, the institutions involved make up two of those pieces, the partnership the third. But first, if I could speak about Massachusetts Maritime Academy, we're a public university located in the state of Massachusetts. We've been around for about 125 years, and people still tell me, boy, that's the biggest secret in the Commonwealth, and we're working hard to change all that. But our success that is starting to show up as people look at things like placement after college, and things like student loan default rates. Who'd ever thought that would be an important metric as you're shopping around for colleges? And most importantly, return on investment. When you look at the program at Massachusetts Maritime Academy, we look at employable Bachelor of Science degrees. You got to like math, you got to like chemistry, you got to like physics. But the idea is you got a skill set as you graduate. We team that up with 6 months of real-world experience for absolutely every student, every cadet that comes through. And on top of that, we have this thing called the Leadership Laboratory. And you folks in row 3 already know what that's all about. And in truth, anybody that's even been a student athlete or part of a club or student government, you know what it takes to manage and lead people, and it ain't easy. So we build that into the program down there at Massachusetts Maritime. And by doing all that, we have some great successes, but really I think it's because we attract a young person who says, I don't mind rolling up my sleeves, getting dirty, I don't mind busting my butt on homework, and I don't mind putting in a little sweat equity. And that brings us to part number 2. That same formula is what you see right here at the John D. O'Brien School in Roxbury. When you look at that focus on science and technology, engineering and math, you look at coming from all parts of the city and what it takes to get here every day. You look at what it demands out of you, and the results speak for themselves. To be at a high school that is ranked in the top 15% of the Commonwealth is something that you all should be very, very, very proud of. And when you look at things like need, especially as you look at college, the John D. O'Brien is up there with about 2/3 of its students demonstrating pretty significant levels of need, but yet you have a graduation rate up at about 96%. So my hat's off to you for that work. And that means you are what we call in Buzzards Bay, scrappers, working your butts off for every grade, every mark you get, and you will flourish if you happen to choose Massachusetts Maritime Academy. But this partnership now takes some discrete pieces, sharing the dual enrollment program, coming up here with one of our faculty members, one gentleman's here, Ed Vasha, raise your hand, Ed, who was up teaching. Hosting your ROTC folks down on campus. This partnership is something very different now because it takes these discrete components and weaves them into a path, or as we say in maritime parlance, a marked channel. So now what we've actually developed, with the help of everybody whose name I had already mentioned, is not just something to get you excited about A, science or take an AP Calc. We're laying out a chart, a roadmap for you not only to attend Massachusetts Maritime Academy, but to graduate from Massachusetts Maritime Academy. And that really is the difference here as we launch this partnership. Selfishly, I'd like every one of you students to go to school down in Buzzards Bay, but heck, if we lose you to some of those other engineering schools like that one across the river in Cambridge, then this program still paid off. So I really hope that that comes through. I will tell you, we get to brag about this today, but before there was ever a chart, a course, a map, before there was dual enrollment, there were trailblazers at this school that sought this path out and made it happen. And we are very, very fortunate to have one of those trailblazers with us today, in Miss Karina Pinaceda. And if I could introduce her back home to her alma mater, the John D. O'Brien, and give her a big welcome as she comes up to the podium. Karina, will you come up, please? And welcome back.
So pardon me, I did an outline so I don't get off topic here. So right now, currently, I work for Canada Steamship Lines. I'm a marketing analyst, but that couldn't happen without going to John D. O'Brien and Mass Maritime. So I'll walk you guys through my path, and I really hope you guys would love to follow me because I think it's an amazing program. So I started O'Brien here in 9th grade, and then it wasn't until 10th grade when I joined NJRTC. I know some of you guys, and then I did drill comp there. I did Leadership Academy, BLT, everything there. Just like, Mass Maritime values leadership. I highly encourage it. Now that I work, I don't see why you wouldn't want to do that. It's a great experience. And then 11th grade, AP classes started. Miss Suitsits, you can see her here. And I actually didn't really know, as Admiral McDonald talks about Mass Maritime. At the time when I was going through John D. O'Brien, there wasn't a huge presence, and I was focused on going to the Naval Academy and getting the Navy scholarship, and my parents can attest to this, they're over there. It wasn't until senior year that I discovered I ended up having hearing loss, and I lost the Navy scholarship. I was supposed to go to Norwich, and it was like 2 weeks before graduation, but since I did RTC and I was like really close to Chief Barrows, and Chief Barrows was close to Mass Maritime, he's like, kiddo, pick up your head, it's okay, like, don't be upset, because obviously, I'm an inner city child just like you guys are. Losing a scholarship was really hard for me, but luckily Mass Maritime took me. They took a chance. I think Captain Stevenson forever, because if not, I would have been late a semester and probably not even gone to school. And it helped me out. My parents, they worked. They made sure I got through Mass Maritime, and I did. I made it. And then once I was at Mass Maritime, I was a little upset because, I lost the scholarship, but it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened. It's like a blessing in disguise. I wish I would have just applied to Mass Maritime in the first place and not even tried going with the Navy. Just because of the experiences I've had. I went on C term. I was a freshman in school, and all my friends are going to like the regulars, UMasses, and here I am freshman year, and we went on C term, so we went on New Orleans, we went to Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and Aruba. Which is really good, I was like 19 at the time and saying bye to parents and traveling. But then also, after it was like summer of sophomore year, I did an internship in Chris Craft, and I left my parents' house, and with help and scholarships and stuff, I was able to do that internship. It was paid. I lived on my own for 2 months. And then I did that again junior year, but I lived in DC with a company called APO. And then my last senior year, I did a student conference in Croatia, which Mass Maritime actually helped pay for, and I actually ended up winning, so I met international maritime students. So as you can see, the school is literally amazing. You can do anything. You can travel. Like, who's to say that I'm like 23 now and I've been to like Europe and I didn't even have to pay for it? So it's just like, it's like things like that. Like, you guys would be amazed. It's just, as a city kid, I've never thought this was possible. Like, I never thought going to John D. O'Brien, like, here I am in the pink shirt. Like, I did AP Chem, just like you guys, AP Physics, and never did I think that I would be out on a ship. I didn't know what maritime was, but honestly, I encourage you guys, reach out to me. Chief Barrow knows my number. You guys can call me. I come back to talk to Chief's class. I recommend you guys look into the maritime industry. It is such a hidden gem for no reason. Same with Mass Maritime. This is why I come back. I graduated O'Brien in 2012, graduated Mass Maritime in 2016, and I come back because I believe in it, and I know I was sitting in your shoes 5 or 6 years ago. I just wish someone was here on the other end telling me about it. So I hope you guys take up the challenge and go. I would love to be MMA alumni with you guys. So, thank you.
Thanks a ton. Karina, truly incredible. A couple points that I'd just like to pick up on very, very quickly. One, you probably heard her say it quickly, but I think we should point out her mom and dad are right over there. Will you raise your hand and, congratulations for a job well done. And then you mentioned internships, and I should have mentioned this going in. An important part of the program is the summer academic program down at Mass Maritime that you're eligible for at the conclusion of sophomore year. But in between your junior and senior year, we're working with a lot of Boston organizations to set up internships right here in the city. And this really came with some encouragement from our next speaker, the mayor of Boston. But I should just point out our friends from the Private Industry Council and Veolia, who are here with us today, that are doing a lot of work to generate those internships. So thank you. Thank you for being here and helping us get this done. And with that being said, as I said, I'm a big fan of the mayor's. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the mayor and all his work, so I can't wait to hear from him next. If I could introduce the mayor of the most awesome city on the planet, especially after that win last night by our boys in green, the mayor of Boston, Mayor Marty Walsh.
Thank you, Admiral. And thank you for that great introduction. And I was saying to the governor, everything we were going to say is pretty much said here between the Admiral and Karina. What a great job and what a great role model you are for being here today too. So thank you very much. To the governor, thank you as well. Superintendent Chang. We're joined by Ron Dorsey, Chief of Education for the City of Boston, who's here with us. Our headmaster, is your headmaster awesome or what? Huh? That's it? Thank you so much. Ms. Freeman Wisdom, thank you. Representative Shannon Tyler, thank you very much for being here, Representative, with us. This is her district. State Senator Mike Rush, thank you. Chair of the board, Mike O'Neill, Chair of the Boston School Committee Board. All of the people here today, thank you very much for being here. Quick question for everybody, and the Admiral brought it up. Who stayed up last night to watch that Celtic game? Those of you that went to bed missed an unbelievable game. Those of you that like LeBron James, oh, he was crying last night, but don't worry about it. But I want to, thank you for the opportunity to come in today. Mass Maritime, this opportunity that's being presented today to you, the O'Brien, to Boston Public Schools, incredible opportunity. I spent 16 and a half years as a state representative, and every year during admission time, I'd get a phone call from a family or a kid that lived. I represented Dorchester from Dorchester, wanted me to help with Mass Maritime because it was a hidden gem, and people didn't really understand what it was. And when you have an opportunity, I know most of the people in this room, I think you're all freshmen and sophomores, right? Yeah. Couple juniors? All right, so you also have to check out the school just to take a ride down to look at it. It's an incredible opportunity. This school is down in Buzzards Bay, but this school actually started, its roots are in Boston, Massachusetts. It started over at Rose Wharf in the Charlestown Navy Yard. It started in Rose Wharf in Southie, then the Charlestown Navy Yard, and then the North End waterfront, and then eventually made its way down to Buzzards Bay. So it's actually a Boston college. We're going to take credit for it, right? So we'll do that. But there's a long history here today. There's a long relationship with this school. It's great that this relationship is being formalized today. I saw the Admiral at the 125th anniversary of the school, and one of the first things he said, and everyone at Mass Maritime, is that we need to get more Boston kids to come down to our school. We need to make sure we have a gem here in Massachusetts, and we need to move forward. And myself and the governor and the secretary and the superintendent and Mike O'Neill and a bunch of others got together, and we said, how do we make this relationship real? How do we make sure that we can encourage our young people to take advantage? So we started talking about financial aid and making sure that we have full financial aid and making sure that we have advanced credits and dual enrollment. And we also, in the city, we're focusing on reforming our high schools and redesigning our high schools and creating pathways to college. It's something that's important. It's also having a clear starting point. So I know a lot of you know this information already, but this is an incredible opportunity. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to talk about this pathway because Mass Maritime is the school. It's the real deal. It's an opportunity to get your degree, and when you graduate, be prepared for your next career is. I'm going to end with this. Last night I had the chance to speak at Suffolk Law School's graduation. And next to me was a professor, and I said to the professor, of all of the kids that are graduating law school here today and across Massachusetts, how many jobs are available for all the legal grads? And he said, not a lot of jobs are available for the legal grads. And I think that your school, Mass Maritime, and the Admiral can confirm this better, but I think it's nearly 100% placement in an opportunity for employment when you graduate college. And the average salary is a pretty big salary. It's an entry-level job, but there's an opportunity for you to already hit the ground running in the middle class. So my only ask to all of you students in this school is take advantage of this great opportunity, because I know, I don't have to say you're going to make us proud. I know you're going to make us proud by going down there and doing this. So again, thank you, Admiral, thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for this great announcement.
Really, like our last speaker, our next speaker also needs no introduction, but let's give him a big round of applause for all his support and what he's done for the Commonwealth in his couple of years here with the administration. Governor Charlie Baker.
Thank you, Admiral. I'm going to be pretty brief because there's a long lineup here, but let me just say a couple things. The first is Mass Maritime is a gem. People talk about it as a hidden gem, but I think it's just a gem, because anybody who's spent any time getting a sense for what that school's about and what it does is well aware of what comes with a degree from that university. Here's one of the things I want to point out to you. I think it has, well, it finished number 3 on the U.S. News and World Report list of the best investments you can make in the country with respect to going to college. And that's because they do have virtually 100% job placement rate. And kids make a great living coming out of this place. And when you think about maritime, you should think about it more broadly than simply shipping, all right? There's a huge piece of maritime that's attached to shipping. And anybody who has spent any time at all down along the waterfront in Boston knows that the port industry and the shipping industry has been growing year over year over year for a very long period of time, and it's expected to keep growing. But maritime also involves things like, how are we going to deal with nearshore issues associated with marshes and pollution and all the issues associated with the environment that are down there? Maritime has to do with how we think about the way we treat and deal with the ocean on a go-forward basis as a community, as a commonwealth, as a country, and as a world. Simple truth is, the bodies of water that make up what I would call the runways or the roadways of maritime present enormous opportunities for kids who are interested in these fields. And Mass Maritime has been capitalizing strategically on this for a very long period of time. And I was the commencement speaker there last year, and literally I asked almost every kid I saw, how'd you like it? I loved it. Did you learn a lot? Yep. Did you grow? Absolutely. Do you have a job? Yes. Virtually every single kid I talked to talked about how much they loved, just like Karina did here, talked about how much they loved the experience and how much they benefited from it and how much they believed it played into what the next act and the next steps in their lives were going to be all about. And we are enormously proud to have partnered with Mass Maritime and with the city and with John O'Brien to expand and build on this program. And we really look forward to all of you who have an interest like this and taking advantage of it, because it is, in fact, one of the best deals anybody's going to find anywhere with respect to getting a college degree and putting that college degree to work right away and taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented by this program. So I wish you nothing but the best, and I really do hope people take a good, hard look at this, because the possibilities, as you pointed out, are endless. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. And as I said in some of my early introductory comments, it really was this conversation that I had in the superintendent's office about a year and a half ago that really helped us move this partnership forward. So I'm looking forward to hearing a few words from him right now. Folks, your superintendent of the Boston Public Schools, Dr. Tommy Chang.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Admiral McDonald, for that introduction. Thank you, Governor Baker. Thank you, Mayor Walsh. Thank you, Chairman O'Neill. Thank you, Commissioner Santiago, Secretary Pizer. There's a lot of folks, right? Headmaster Freeman, Wisdom, the young people, the community. Thank you for coming here today, and thank you for celebrating this great announcement. This partnership is transforming young people's lives. Karina, your story was incredible. I was moved so much, and it just shows you how impressive the young people in the city are, the children in the city of Boston are. And thank you for this sort of investment, because when you invest in young people, they truly do great things. What has really impressed me about this partnership, it's built on work that has already been done. Over the last 2 years, Mass Maritime has worked with O'Brien students, teaching them about environmental science and emergency management, coastal navigation. The young people are getting college credit for it, and they're engaging in innovative learning. They're seeing what they're learning in classroom has relevance to their careers. It is about college and career. It's not an or statement, it's an and statement. And during this time, Mass Maritime has come to see how incredible and how awesome the young people in the city of Boston are. The ocean can seem like a place far away, but Mass Maritime is showing them that they have such great potential to explore not only the ocean, but the world around them. And Karina, I think your story tells them that immediately coming out of college, you were already exploring the world. So I want to thank Mass Maritime for this partnership. I really want to thank the investment from the state in providing these scholarships as well, because debt can drag a young person down, but to get through college, having all their expenses covered and coming out ready to access the middle class, that's transformative. Lastly, I just want to thank, again, the O'Brien. I want to thank Headmaster Tanya Freedom Wisdom. I want to give a special shout out to Michael Sullivan. Michael and I, we've met a couple of times. Thank you for your leadership. It is truly boots on the ground that makes this happen, so thank you for your work. These sort of initiatives are creating these pipelines from high school to college to career is the work we are trying to do in transforming the high school experience in Boston Public Schools. So I want to urge any other organization, any businesses, any colleges that are interested in doing this work, reach out. Dr. Makima McCurry, she is responsible for our Office of External Affairs. Please reach out to her, reach out to me personally. Let's create more of these pipelines. And Mayor Walsh, I want to thank you for your leadership. You have pushed and encouraged us to keep doing this work, because for you, you believe in the young people in this city, and I want to make sure that I'm helping you as much as I can to transform lives in the city of Boston. So thank you, everybody, for being here today to celebrate this incredible announcement. And now I have the honor of introducing Carlos Santiago, the Commissioner of Higher Education for our Commonwealth. He was appointed in 2015 and is responsible for providing an overall direction of public higher ed in the state of Massachusetts. Welcome, Commissioner.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you for all of you for being here today, the dignitaries and the students. It's wonderful to see you. I do need to acknowledge those that I work closely with, in addition to Admiral McDonald, but Secretary Pizer and the governor and their support for dual enrollment in early college. I think these programs are going to make a world of difference. I recall that when Admiral McDonald and I were first appointed in July 2015, the very first thing that he told me was that he was committed to having more students from Boston experience a Mass Maritime Academy education. And you have lived up to your promise. Through dual enrollment in early college initiatives, the Baker administration is providing avenues for high school students to have a college experience. All the data, all of the signs suggest that these initiatives will enhance college going rates and college success rates among students. I have to confess that we have a slightly selfish motive for doing this, and I direct my comments to all of the high school students in attendance. Massachusetts has the most innovative economy in the country. We truly are knowledge-based, and the reality is that the success of our standard of living is due to the education of all, and I repeat, all of our citizens. But something is happening to our demography. We are older, and a large segment of the Massachusetts population will be retiring in the next 10 years. I will likely be among that group. At the same time, traditional age college-going students are declining in numbers. They're going down. We must, of necessity, bring you, all of you, into the higher education fold. The future of the Commonwealth depends upon it. Your parents, your future children, and your future grandchildren's standard of living depend upon your success. I will close the program off with a quick story. Before I arrived in 2013 in the wonderful state of Massachusetts, I spent 6 years as chancellor at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee. If you know Milwaukee, you know it's a city with significant inequality. You also know that it's a city that stands next to a huge body of water called Lake Michigan. And we had a school of freshwater sciences, the first graduate school in the nation. And we would bring students, high school students from the lowest income parts of the city into the university. And many of them, and I found this hard to believe, many of them had never seen Lake Michigan. They lived in Milwaukee their entire lives and had never left their communities to see this grand expanse of water, of fresh water called Lake Michigan. I vowed at that point that I would do everything I could to help those students from those communities see a huge body of water, and I have to admit that this program is doing just that. Let me thank you all for joining us. Thank you for coming. This program is the first of what we expect to be many in this direction. We're going to reach all parts of the Commonwealth and provide students with the opportunity to succeed. The rest is all up to you. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the program. Thank you very much for being here today.